All right, so I'm really super stoked to hear that you all have gone above and beyond and looked for resources above what I gave you. And it sounds like you all are really making good progress here. So Liz, what you're talking about with that section out of John, on your, that passage, the whole idea with that passage is for you all to transcribe it.
Okay.
And what that means is write it in English characters as you learn. Eventually, you're going to be translating that, and you're going to be really surprised with how well you can do it. Okay, so moving forward, we learned last week the Greek alphabet, which is what the entire class is going to hinge on. I know it sounds like it's some big pressure, some heavy weight that's on your shoulders, but from what I've seen, you all have made some really good progress in getting past the initial hump. So kudos to y'all. And we're going to do some review before we proceed into the next chapters, because we're basically working through chapters 1 through 3, and chapter 3 is the crucial chapter before we move on. Did anybody have a chance to go through and do a lot of the workbook exercises?
I did some. Yes, I did. I did most of. Yeah, I did through page 4.
Okay. And with that being said, what would you all most likely want to review before moving on to anything new today?
The reading mark.
Okay, yeah, these are interesting. Okay. So I'll go over the breathing marks again, so everybody will be familiarized with them. Excuse me. Yeah, that's the hard part about Greek is, you have to kind of zoom in on it, and especially when you're looking at some of the older manuscripts, it's really difficult to see because they've got the scribes kind of writing on either parchment or papyrus, and it's really hard to see all the different, you have the acute and the circumflex and a breathing mark right on top of each other, and you're like, what is that?
And you have to I'm looking at all of them going, okay, I've got to do this and that, just to get one sound out.
Yeah. Yeah, and I want to make sure. I think I had it mixed up with y'all last week. Oops, let me get some space there. Trying to over-exaggerate these two. So they're not like little L's, they're like little quotation marks, if you will. Okay. You know what I did? I was writing rough. What did I do?
Oh.
I'm thinking Greek. Yeah. Okay. Who can tell me what the rough breathing mark represents?
H. The H sound? No?
Oh, wait. Yeah, hang on. Let me make sure. Yeah. Yes, you're right. Sorry, I'm having a day. I've been working 10 and 12-hour days this week. Yeah, I'm tired. Okay. Yes, so it is the H sound.
I'm having a hard time. When I look at them, which one is which?
Yeah. Let's see here.
Magnifying glass helps.
I mean, I got glasses.
Okay. The best way I would say that I would
because for instance, when you look at this, there's 4 different marks. I don't know which
all over one letter.
Yeah, all the different diacritics. Let me see what you're looking at there.
Just which one is what? This one is
that you got the soft, and you got that's a hard
what is this one?
That's an acute.
Okay.
And that's a grave there.
Grave in French is grave.
Yeah, exactly. So the way I kind of over exaggerated this rough breathing mark is, yeah, there you go, rough. It's a quick little way, because you're not going to necessarily write an R above your letter, but if it's pointed, it kind of looks like a little letter R. because we're going to run into another diacritic later that is an actual letter shoved at the letter.
One's like an
They weren't.
open, like a,
Open and close quote.
not quote though. They're not doubles.
Yeah. Well.
A single,
Yeah, apostrophe. Like a,
Yeah.
I don't know if there's a closed apostrophe.
Yeah, there is. Yeah, if you have on both ends, like people do this, but yeah.
But a quote inside of quotation
Yeah,
is
the single. Yes, exactly. And that's exactly what these look like.
Okay, so here's the obvious question. Why put a mark where?
On the soft.
On the soft, well, to us it doesn't, but in the ancient world it very much did. You remember me telling you about the glottal stop last week?
Yes.
Okay, so that sound was and still is a letter in many languages, and including including the language that Greek borrowed their alphabet from.
I don't remember.
Okay, so
Things like button,
what's that?
button.
Button, yeah, like
Oh, okay.
yeah. So this letter in Hebrew is aleph, and that serves the same function as the soft breathing mark.
Oh.
I think I got that backwards. Hang on, kind of an awkward way to write. Yeah.
What is the big one?
It's like a cockney T. Button.
Yeah, but as I said, we use it in English. You're just not aware of it. Say the word apple. Notice when you say it, you kind of a little catch in your throat at the beginning. Say even. Yeah.
You
I
do.
think this
Yeah.
depends too on where you're from and what your dialect is.
Right.
Yeah.
It's true, but even an apple, everybody does. Maybe.
Yeah, it's there. If you ever, you really want to nerd it up, this is in the International Phonetic Alphabet. This is the symbol for a glottal stop, right? And apple is written like this. That's exactly how to pronounce it. That's that catch. Ah, that's the vowel sound. Close, what do you call it? Closed syllable. Pool.
And my grandmother, who her first language was French, also would say apple.
Yeah. It's pretty common for, yeah. So, but you know how to make the sound, but that's why that's there for.
I didn't know it had a name.
What's that?
Okay,
I
now,
didn't know it had a name.
Yeah.
now in reading, what does that do when you're reading?
You just recognize that that's just going to be just starting off with a vowel, no H. So say H, no H.
Just kind of ignore it.
Yeah, in a way, but it's going to be there, and you're going to want to recognize that it's not a rough breathing mark. You're going to recognize that it's not a grave or an acute. And you can almost instantly tell it's not going to be circumflex. But that's just the thing. Once you see a vowel at the beginning of a Greek word, you're going to have to start looking for the breathing marks.
So it adds something to word recognition. Right?
Yes.
Like you look down and you see a word, and you don't have to decipher it if it's in English, right? You see the word and you know it. We would have to know that with all those little things that
Mhm.
instantly know.
Yeah, and you'll get more cognizant of it as time passes, because there are some words that are very similar in Greek that are spelled exactly the same, but the only difference is the breathing mark. Yeah, so I hate to say that if you're going to run into it, but that's why we want to be familiar. What's that?
So here, with Ada, with a hard breathing mark on it.
Mhm.
So when you say that, it's like, it's the HE sound.
Yeah, if it has the hard breathing mark, yes. If it doesn't, like the previous word, altos. What's that?
So just the opposite.
Yes, exactly. So, and yeah. So this is a bridge we're going to have to cross before we move on, because it's going to be, yeah.
The more I say it, the more it gets cemented in my head.
Yeah, because if we run into the same thing, and that's what Bethany's just running across. And I'm trying to write this more like what you all see or getting familiar with in your book. So, and then there's our soft breathing mark, whereas you can also have I do believe we have the grave there. We have a hard breathing mark. So how would you pronounce this?
That second letter, yeah.
Well, let me move this over because I think this is kind of conflicting. This is making it hard for y'all to see. Okay, sorry about that. And I'm really trying to write this in a way that you've memorized the alphabet. So,
Yeah.
exactly. So that is going to be a prime example where you're going to be having, in fact, one of the things I've just realized is in altos, the breathing mark should be right here. I never knew why.
You're saying altos?
Yeah, altos. Yeah. That could be him or it.
What?
It typically means it. So,
A lot of letters for it.
yeah, it is. And we're going to learn why that's the case next week, but yeah, but now you know what the auto in automobile means.
Yeah.
It means it moves.
Super clever.
Yeah, exactly.
Something that keeps throwing me is like the second character.
This right here? Yeah, I do that to separate it from, I always like putting this little tail on upsilon to separate it from the noon, because the noon sometimes, especially the way you write it, can end up looking like that, and then you write your upsilon like that. Which one's which?
I have this little cheat sheet that we printed, and it looks like a V.
That's the noon.
It's the new.
Mm-hmm.
You said noon?
And
Yeah, Hebrew. It's noon in Hebrew. I'm dorking it up.
You.
Yeah, it is.
If you write quickly, though, sometimes you're using these.
Exactly. So that's why I always put the tail.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
And if you look closely, there is a tiny little tail on the lowercase upsilon. As I said, I've developed a handwriting over the years, and you all will probably too. So I'm trying to account for that as well.
Even, Bill Mounts, the first name, right, Bill?
Mhm.
When he was writing the alphabet, I mean, it was nothing, it didn't look like this.
Yeah.
It was just like, he was just doing his thing.
Exactly, and that's natural. We all have our natural handwriting, and you'll see that when you're gonna be running into actual old documents. You're gonna find out that in the old days, in the time of the Bible, they did not write the characters out in the way we do in modern Greek.
Well, have you ever read documents written during the time of, before the revolution and stuff?
Yeah, exactly the same.
F's look like F's.
Yeah.
And
Turn your workbook to page 34.
completely different.
Yeah, like the long S that looks like an F without the little, yeah.
What's the page?
Page 34, we've got a Greek document that dates from the Greek gospel. Yeah, and this is at the time of, what do you call it, the Byzantine period. So, yeah, you're going to start seeing a huge stark change. And I think there was another document I saw that shows modification to the Greek text. So switch over to page 44. And now here we have a more modern version, but it's definitely different from what you're learning. So, nope, those are majuscules and minuscules. They're just in a different way than you're used to seeing them. If you notice 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the fifth letter over, what's that last letter that's the letter that starts with tau? That's tau, omicron, iota.
No,
That's a sigma.
that's a sigma.
That's a sigma.
How's that?
That's just the way yes, it's the way they started. Like our alphabet, we're talking about how the writing changed over the years. So did the Greek. But don't freak out about it. You're not going to need to know that now.
Okay.
Yeah. We're just going to need to get past this.
Yeah, then one day we'll look back at that and be really like, oh, let's figure this out.
Yeah, it's not really, it's just, we're going to have to take one bite at a time to eat this elephant, this big old Greek elephant. So, all right, so then we have our grave and our acute. I think I covered that last week.
That's, are those accent marks?
Yeah, that's all they are.
Yeah.
And I know I went into the weeds with you all that these were exactly how they were sounded out back in ancient Greek days. What you don't need to know right now, I want to make sure I'm writing down everything really quick because I have a habit of getting way ahead of myself. So we have our acute in the second vowel over the eta. Who knows this word? Yep. Okay, now I need to find something with a grave.
So how did that mark change it?
Which one? Oh, that one.
Yeah, accent on that syllable instead of amen, amen. Yeah, amen. Even though that's technically not the way we sing it in the Lord's and in the doxology. Okay, how come I don't have anything with a really good grave going on here? It's my fault I did not come prepared in this way. Oh.
There's a bunch in that passage.
In that passage, what?
And on page 6.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I didn't realize. Okay, I'll find one there. Paul, you sound flustered. Oh yeah, duh. The most common word you're going to run into in Greek. What? Yeah. How'd you know?
Because I figured it out.
Kai. That means and in Greek.
So where did that do that from?
Accent it still.
This was acute.
Yeah.
On amen, it was acute, right?
Yes. Amen. And this would still be just, this isn't kai, it's just kai. In other words, like say if you have different words mixing in like this and that, if you want to, if that's a good example. So kai will always be accented. It's like an emphasizing something. Okay, and then finally, where do I have my notes here? I'm all over the place.
There's one right in front of five.
Oh, the L2. Yeah, I don't want to translate that for you because it's going to be getting us into next week's lesson. That's why I'm not picking that. I'm trying to figure out my notes here. I've got everything mixed up here, so bear with me.
There's one in verse 7 with the capital A on it.
No, that's another one that was like the same reason why I didn't want to translate it. Well, we'll just go in with the L2. I'll translate it for you, but what's that?
The word too.
Okay. And then we're going to have also our breathing mark here.
But there's the I would have to go in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. This word actually means his. Anyway, how do you go from it to his? Well, we'll get to that later.
Tell us.
This is in the genitive case. And you're like, whatever. So, L2. This is a circumflex here. So we've got our acute, our grave, and our circumflex. For all the intents and purposes we're going to be using in this class, that just means an accent mark. L2, not L2. So L2, accent on the second syllable. Amen.
The spot that it takes that makes it, that changes the principle. The difference between the acute, the grave, and the circumflex, just is based on what syllable it's in, or what it's
For our modern purposes, yes, it's an accent mark. So that's it.
But they could, for all intents and purposes, just use one accent mark and put it wherever they want.
They do, but in the biblical days,
Right.
this was tonal. So this would have been
Okay.
amen. It'd be
Okay. So
kai,
it's a,
and now
so it's-
two.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's got a different. It's got
Yeah,
a tonal thing.
But yeah, I'm not going to even expect you all to do it. If you try to speak like that to somebody, your professor will look like, why are you pronouncing it that way? My professor made fun of me because I pronounced Greek like my Greek friends did, and like, you pronounce Greek like it's Spanish. Because that's how, yeah, that's because that's how they kind of pronounce it. But I don't expect you all to do it.
Okay.
This is just enough to get us past.
Basically, it's just an accent mark, and it's just different because of the place it's located.
Exactly, and that's for all intents and purposes we're going to use. In fact, even in a lot of times, you'll be able to get your point across even if you accent the wrong syllable. Because mainly what we're going to be using this for is for biblical interpretation.
Yeah.
And it's rare that anybody will ever get you to say, hey, what does this mean in Greek? And you get to go,
And then it's even rarer that they're going to go, oh, you got the accent wrong.
yeah, exactly. And so that's funny. That's what happened during this sermon when Chip was doing the what do you call it, the announcements on Sunday. He says something. Is how do you say it in Greek? So I yelled out it in Greek.
He also said, it's all Greek to me.
Yeah.
And Bill Mount says he hates that. He said, I don't like it when people say that because Greek is not difficult.
Yeah, it's really not.
Says the guy who knows it.
All right, wait till we get to Hebrew then.
Why isn't the breathing work over the second vowel?
Oh yeah, it's exact. Alto for some odd reason does things different, or altos. Yeah, and there's no such thing as a language out there that's so there's no natural language out there that follows all the rules to the T. Greek actually does play ball fairly good, almost as good as Spanish does. Spanish is really good about playing ball, following its own rules, but it unfortunately has its own idiosyncrasies, just like all the others. In fact, this form of Greek, Koine Greek, was simplified to try to play by the rules as much as possible, so new learners could learn it because it was a second language to most of the speakers.
Would you say that it's an easier language to learn than English?
Grammatically, no, but phonetically, yes. It typically follows the phonetic structure, whereas in English we have rough, cough, through. Yeah, we have.
All of those is O-U-G-H.
Yeah, and we have something along the lines of 8 vowel sounds in English, but only 5 to sound them out. So, actually, even more than that. I think it's somewhere around like 13, including some, and then not even counting the diphthongs. So. All right. Do we have, and diphthongs are up next, since we're going to be saying that. We're talking about that. What is a diphthong? Anybody?
2 vowels together to make one sound.
Exactly. Okay. So we're going to start off with our first diphthong here. Almost exactly like in English. This is going to be funny. Which one's Greek and which one's not? Actually, let me do this something a little bit better phonetic for you. I'm going to try to do this in straight English, like aye, Captain. Okay.
I and not A.
Huh?
I and not A.
It's I. Yeah.
So
Okay.
AI says I.
Yeah. And this is A.
And it's EYE?
I know, I'm the AI.
Oh yeah. Like. Oh, okay. Like I was thinking. Yeah. That's a better point. I was thinking. My Navy is coming out on me here. So like yes, I like.
Okay.
Oho, or ophthalmos in Greek. Let's see here. So this one is going to be pronounced like A.
Are Canadians good?
Yeah, exactly.
And Ubers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, Finland.
Yeah. Don't be a hoser, eh?
Quite.
Okay, and then we'll just do this one here, like oil.
Oi. Oi, oi, oi.
All right. I think I found a little fault in this.
Smaller board.
Yeah. I'm putting in different words that are more easy to easy to remember. Okay. This one you're going to run into a lot. All right. Oops, the last ones I wanted to wait till I wrote them because I don't want to be blocking the board while I did that. So we have this ow as an ouch. Ooh, you'll be running into this all the time. Soup, because you were asking like if that oopsilon has that weak light sound, how do you actually make the long oo sound? And that's how we do it. This is wee, sweet. And you're going to run into this a lot because by itself, it's a prefix that you'll end up running to, like low. I always mispronounce it. I tend to pronounce out that Europe or eulogy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Eulogia, which is how you say that in Greek, which just means good word. So anytime you see this in front of a word, that means good. And this is pronounced the exact same way. And you'll rarely ever run into that.
You will rarely run into that.
This vowel combination. And if you do, it's in a weird verb conjugation.
FUI, the salon iota, is that real common?
Yeah, it's not rare, if that makes any sense.
And here, it can make two sounds, because it's like in gill or...
Oh, in English, yeah, because it depends on, if we get guild, that's because it's from French where the U is silent. So, yeah, that's because if you ever want to know why English is so hard to translate, pronounce, yeah, it's a hybrid language, yeah, of Anglo-Saxon, a little bit of Danish thrown in, what do you call it, some minute amount of Celtic words, and then a huge amount of Norman French, and then Latin, French proper, and Greek. Yeah, so, and nobody ever said, hey, let's make these play well together.
Because they don't.
Yeah, but it gives us such a unique character.
Emily has completely reinvented the English alphabet, our alphabet. She's gotten rid of all kinds of letters. It's just like, ooh, Emily.
Oh, I said, ooh.
Oh.
Okay, now this is gonna not surprise you at all. Something Miranda knows very well about me. I invented a language when I was in high school. I wanted to make a language that was easy to pronounce, easy to learn, phonetically it just everything phonetically matched exactly what the spelling matched what it said. And then by the time I was said and done, I realized I invented Indonesian, but the words were different. Yeah. So if you ever want to know the easiest language in the world to learn, it's Indonesian. Yes. Actually, I learned that too, and it kind of bashes in together English, French, German, even a slight amount of Polish, and some Latin and some Greek, and kind of mixes most of the best of that stuff together. But it's not as easy as you think it would be. But yeah, I like messing at people, like saying "Buon tagon," and they're like, "What?" That's good day in Esperanto. So yeah, I totally nerd that up with Emily. Yeah, because I had a writing system back in the day. Remember our LED clocks that would have that you can represent every letter by that. That was my writing system was based on. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. That was my inspiration. So I came up with the whole alphabet and writing system and everything else. So yeah, Emily's not a big of a nerd as she thinks she is, and there's a whole communities out there of conlangs.
She's just as I have 3 dyslexics. As a dyslexic, she's just like so angry with the English, with our alphabet system. I
was at her age too, but now I love its unique character. It's
don't have any problem.
Yeah, its imperfections help transmit so much nowadays. All right. So now we're gonna run.
Sorry.
No, it's okay.
Very helpful to me to know that I wasn't me. Yeah.
Okay, now we're gonna run into what we're gonna call the false diphthong. And this is where we're actually throwing in a letter underneath a letter. The iota subscript.
Okay.
And this is going to be pronounced A-O. That is not pronounced. The iota subscript, you do not pronounce it. but we will be running into it in a couple weeks.
So it's like the soft,
No, it's not.
yeah?
Why do we run into it? Because at one time in the past, Greek actually wrote it like this, and then they stopped pronouncing it, so then they just shoved it down there. Yeah, that would make sense, right? But
Wait, so it's just the sound of the character?
it's just an iota that's there as a artifact. Nothing more, nothing less. But you'll be running into it all the time because it has a grammatical function to it. And you
Okay.
and a very important grammatical function at that. So you do not pronounce it.
So I have a problem with that being an iota. It doesn't work.
Yeah, I know. If you really want to get into some language stuff, I will give you secrets where how a lot of the stuff we just view as prefixes they actually used to be separate words way in the past, and so on and so forth. Okay. But that's really getting off a topic there. Okay, so now we have Greek punctuation marks, which we're going to run into. Okay, so actually I got that wrong, excuse me. Oopsies. Oops. At least this time I'm not getting dry erase marker all over me here. Okay, so we got, yeah, comma and period are the same. What we view as our semicolon is actually a question mark, and the semicolon is actually the colon and semicolon with the, should I say the colon with the bottom part missing. So it's just a dot, that's why I put the line here, so, yeah, yes.
So the period is at the bottom, just like you put it.
Yeah, comma and period are exactly the same.
Okay, and the semicolon is like halfway between the letters or at the top?
Yeah, it'll be written like, like that.
Okay. I saw something somewhere where there was actually just a colon, but it was up high. It was like halfway up, and there was nothing else. Am I wrong, Greg?
I think you're right.
Oh, I saw that now.
Yeah, I've run into it in my readings before, and I'm trying to remember what that means. Oh well.
It isn't.
Yeah. Okay, so if we got that down. So we're going to try to do, have you all got the concept of syllabification down? In other words, how to,
It's better, but yes.
okay. Well, what I want to do is use it as a means to teach you all vocabulary here. I'm not going to use their examples in the book because some of these words are past what we're already wanting to. They're going to be words that we're going to be getting more familiar with in the later chapters when we get into verbs. So I'm going to teach you all actual words here that I want you to take home with you.
Okay.
Where was the okay. And I misspelled it, excuse me. Anybody want to take a stab at pronouncing this? Mm-hmm. And yeah.
What's the character at the top?
This?
After the towel.
Oh, after the tell, that's a Omicron. Sorry, it's a badly written. Let me clean this up a little bit for you.
Okay. Okay, apostolo.
So second, apostolos. There's a way Mounts would say apostolos. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. And then we're going to break this apart by apos. In fact, yeah, I think they apostolos. Yes. Stuff. Trying to think. This one should be actually. Let me break that apart. Just sound that out. And any guess as to what that means? Well, yes. Messengers. Yeah. Okay. Tell me when you all want me to move on to the next word, because we're going to go one by one here.
Sorry.
That's all right. Well, I'll work on the second one here. I think I can go a little low and do this. Make sure I got the, yeah. Oops, I misspelled. I missed a word. Not a word, a letter. Excuse me on that. Anybody want to take a stab at pronouncing this? Yeah.
It's like first character.
This? Capital Gamma. This is a place name, so it's going to be capitalized.
It's a what?
A capital Gamma.
It's a capital.
Yeah.
I've been messing with capital.
Yeah, and here I'm just going to throw in our syllable breaks here. So
I have
ga.
a terrible, terrible habit though of going A-L.
Then you want to get out of using even the English letters because you're gonna lean on them.
Yeah, you're right. And this looks more like a Christian fish than whatever they call it.
Yeah, you don't have to get it perfect. It just obviously, like when I get to go scoring your work next week.
I didn't finish reading.
Oh, sorry about that. Okay, where were you at?
The second alpha.
Actually, I was a. Okay, I'll just get the upper one done. I'll just. Yeah. Yep.
What is the second to last?
It's a fee. Phi fee. Fee fi fo fum.
Accent mark.
Okay, and anybody want to try sounding this out? Okay, and what do you think this means? Yeah, well, writing. To write would be a little bit different. This is the noun form.
Okay.
And there's how we break it apart. Grave. Yeah, I'm gonna have to look at. If I got my way of writing the next one of the letters in the next word, I'm gonna have to take this really slow.
Oh, sorry.
No, you're good.
Okay,
Okay.
anybody want to give this one a stab? And we're gonna have our breaks here. And the meaning. Anybody want to give a stab at the meaning? We use this all the time. Yeah, that's part of it. Yeah.
And that's the word I was saying.
Yeah.
Praise or praise?
Yeah. Or it can mean glory.
Yeah,
Yeah.
glory is really right. Glory.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, because orthodox actually means proper or straight praise in Greek. Orthos is straight.
Okay. Is what?
Straight. Yeah, like an orthodontist, he straightens your bone. Yeah. Yeah, or orthodontist, yeah, straightens your teeth, excuse me. Like he straightened, you go, I got my leg,
Yeah.
I got a cast put on over at my dentist. They fixed my broken knee. She did.
But that feels so good. Yeah, it's good.
Did you make that third letter? Does it always go that direction? I thought it was this way.
Sorry, here, show me. I don't know what we were saying.
Uh,
Oh, this letter? Oh, endoxa? Yeah, because this is weird. I write C like that. Actually, a little bit different. Come on.
Okay.
In my handwriting, I do this, so I'm trying to do my best to. I do apologize. Let me see here. Did I get that? Yes, I did. I mirror imaged that. Forgive me.
Well, no, I just, anything else that looks like that? See.
Yeah, there we go. Forgive me.
I don't know. Oh, okay.
Okay, but now do you see it? No.
I do.
Okay. Sorry about that. And
No, when she said it, I was like, okay. Yeah. So it's because of the way you write your Z.
yeah, exactly.
Okay.
I have to think consciously to write it this way. I'm not practicing doing it this way.
And so actually, a lot of people probably do that.
Yeah, well, you'll end up probably writing a simplified version. A lot of people I've seen, they just do like a this, which we'll end up doing in our, as we keep going. And some people just don't even want to deal with that and just do that.
Which is the,
The capital version, yeah.
wow. Okay.
Okay, so now we got a new.
So new and fresh, which is like,
Yeah, and I got to keep that in mind. That's my fault that I got to keep it in mind that you all are just now being introduced, that my chicken scratch will be throwing you all
no,
off.
actually, I appreciate it. I want to learn that. You know?
Oh, you will. You're going to get a lot of practice. Yeah, so if you want to look at it, this is kind of like a funky cursive E with a tail at the bottom. Because if you want to look at it, so like a C is this. Now all I got to do is add that to make it our E. So if you want, if that'll help you out.
Yeah.
really quick.
Yes.
Second word that we did, what does that mean?
The second word that we did, what, Galilea? Galilee.
Okay, I was just double
Yeah,
checking.
it was
before.
yeah. Oh, forgive me on that, yeah. Like the Sea of Galilee. Does anything good come from Galilee? Okay, so now we have this. How do we pronounce that? Okay. And what does that mean?
It's what?
What does that mean?
So. I would know that from last week. We went there from self to.
Yeah. Yeah. To say I am is ego e me. Yeah. Yeah.
I feel so much freedom in writing my letters, not exactly like that. You know what I mean? Like.
Yeah, I'm not gonna grade you on your, yeah, you're gonna have to have perfect calligraphy here, or I'll wrap your knuckles with my yardstick.
I got a ruler to my hand when I was in kindergarten.
Oh,
In kindergarten, why did you say kindergartner?
Into a fellow student. Go to the Catholic school.
I'm trying to remember as I'm writing. Don't do your chicken scratch, Thomas. Okay. I know we covered this one last week. See if anybody. Yeah. And what does this mean? What? Kinda. It is. It is, but it's an. It could be the end, but this is a vowel, so it's either last or the end.
Okay,
Yeah, it could be one of the two.
okay.
That's pretty cool.
I know, I like green thing.
Take your drugs. Reminder.
Okay, it was- Yeah, last or the end.
Mm-hmm.
And you say it's the end because it starts with a vowel?
I'm sorry. Say again.
What did you say? It starts with a vowel, not that mean?
No.
What did you say?
No.
No, what did you say?
Oh, it's just it's a noun.
It's a noun.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And what you're going to find out, all words ending in os are nouns in Greek for the most part.
Ooh.
Yeah, but that's not the only rule. That's one of the many rules. But you'll get really familiar. You're going to get really familiar with that next week, because we're going to be breaking into that. We're going to be working with nouns.
What's the rule?
What?
What is the rule?
Don't write it down right now. I don't want you all getting off track.
It ends with OS. It's
See if I got that right. How they have it in the book. Yeah, kind of. Yeah, I want to make sure. Can you tell what letter this is from my chicken scratch? Okay, Zeta, yeah. Okay, anybody want to take a stab at reading this? Huh? I heard it.
zone.
That's an
Oh,
eta.
E.
That's an eta.
Really?
Yeah. Okay, what does that mean?
I remember some of the last week. I was like, I can tell you what.
This means Zoe means life, because then out of this you get zoology.
Ooh. That's a good thing to remember.
Yeah, so zoology just means like a study about life. Yeah. Study of life, yeah.
The comment is the one that's. That's different than what I wrote down. With my comma, I have written like that. Are they different?
Everybody hanging in there?
Yes.
The book has a semicolon and a comma, it's different than what we wrote down.
Where's it at? Page 10. It's probably my mistake. My notes are very small. Oh, no, it's no. This is an exercise. You're supposed to draw lines to which one is which.
Oh, okay. There you go. Well, there we go.
Okay. All right. So, anybody want to take a stab at?
Yes.
There you go. What does that mean? Well, this is going to be one of the most common words you're going to be running across in the Bible.
God.
There you go. This is good. Yeah, theology. Yeah. Exactly. And I'm trying to look up a word here too before I get into something.
What's the name of my horse? We don't say.
Yeah, like Theophilus, that name. You're going to find out what phileo. Does anybody remember what phileo means out of the 4 love languages? And what does that mean? I'm putting you on the spot again, aren't I?
Well, that is a brotherly love. Is that not?
Yeah, but which one is brother and which one's love?
Oh, okay, hang on. Say it's,
Yeah, Theophilus?
Phileo is, the first part is love.
Correct. So, and then the first part is theo. So what do you think that Theophilus means now?
Lover of God.
Exactly.
I'm not that fast.
Yeah, so it's always, there's been long times of whether Theophilus was his actual name, if it was his nickname, or if it was just generally addressing any lovers of God.
This is a given name.
Yeah, it could have been, because most Hebrew names have similar meanings behind them. So yeah, that's exactly what it is. Man, I can't remember how to say it there. Anyways, I was looking up something. I was going to give you a quick little test, but I'm deciding not to do it because I don't want to mess you all up by being inaccurate. Combining some of the vocabulary together into a sentence to see if you all can get it. Okay. And one thing you're going to find out about me, when I'm in front of an audience, I don't remember anything. I can never remember. Yeah, actually, it's going to be here. Yeah, which means, yeah, exactly. This is so great.
Why is it CAR?
Because you remember how I said technically not all the time is the R trilled like in Spanish?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because it's literally car, and you're going to run into that in where you have a vowel then row. Yeah, because if you ever wonder why row gets transliterated into that, because they didn't trill row in ancient Greek. Did not. Yeah. In fact, the English R is a very rare sound in languages.
Yes. That's why people in the East can't say it.
Yeah, and why you have other people from other languages can't say it either. Either they put in their trilled R, or they that's the word I'm looking for, or they just drop it, just like in ka.
And you little children often substitute
That's not good.
for like.
Okay. Yeah. And what does this mean?
I don't know.
Well, kind of. It just means world, yeah. Yeah. In the ancient worldview, the world and the universe were one and the same. But there's a separate word for earth in Greek.
What is it for Earth?
Yeah. Okay. What's the study of the earth?
Geology.
So,
And then what's the name of the old like wimpy? Was it a? What was it? It wasn't a Chevy. It was a.
Geo.
Yeah. There you go. It was like a Kia. It wasn't a Kia. It was a.
Yeah.
It's one of those defunct car companies from back in the day. Yeah. But it's actually just gay.
Yeah.
Gay. Yeah. So no O. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. But you don't need to write that down now. This is not our vocabulary for now.
Is that where the word Gaia comes from?
Mm-hmm. That's exactly where it comes from.
What's that again?
Gaia.
Gaia. Oh,
Mhm.
okay.
As Gaia is just earth worship. Which, if you get into that kooky religion, is basically a modern pantheistic cult. So, huh?
Again?
Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah, they're similar. Wiccans are like mixed pantheistic and animistic. And you're going to find out. Okay, now here we go. I'm going to give you the definition so you can start translating it. What do you think pantheism means?
Pan means all.
Yeah, exactly. All God. Yeah.
We're all God.
Well, actually,
Everything.
God. Yeah, more. That's more the point. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. So.
Is word.
Mm-hmm. Yep. This means word. It can also mean discourse, statement.
Okay.
So, like this is the word from, yeah. I'll go check the thermostat really quick. Had it in 75. I guess it's
Usually, so the thing is, if it's cool in that room, it's not cool in this room. So in order for it to be cool here, you should not be on like that.
okay. You can do that. Yeah. So the concept of the term word, logos, in the ancient Greek world was far more than what we have it now. In fact, if you get into the Stoics and Epicureans and the early Greek philosophy, the concept of the word is something. How to best describe this? It could either be like a divine representative, meaning that it's something that like the name of the God that represents God, but it could also be something like where like divinity is manifested, if you will, through discourse in a way. So they had an interesting. So when in John 1, yeah, exactly. That was for the Greeks. They were like, oh, we know exactly what that means.
Yes.
So when we just kind of apparent to us as Christians after 2,000 years that, oh, the word, that's the name of Jesus. It's a title of his.
And the Jehovah's Witnesses take one letter, the letter A, where was
A God. I've got a funny video to show you now that you're bringing that up. You're really running into that in Greek. It's going to be called I don't know, I think Mounts went over it already in the first videos, the predicate nominative. And no, actually, that's for the next class. So, yeah, I'm very, very aware of that tendency of the Jehovah's Witnesses. All right, so we're going to continue on with our vocabulary and syllabification. Is this helping you all out with vocabulary, doing it alongside with the syllable? Yeah, okay. Okay, now here, this is where that little tail there comes in real handy. Make sure I got my, circumflex.
Yeah.
Technically, most of the time you pronounce this, it's going to be almost like this. You can say pneuma, but that's really clunky, so it's almost always going to come out like pneuma, even though that's a diphthong. Pneuma, okay. Because in Greek, you do pronounce the P, the pi. Get that P out of your head. Well, actually, it is pronounced P, yeah.
The sound.
Yeah, it's right, actually. Alpha, beta, gamma, delta, eta, zeta. Yeah, so I thought you were doing English, so I'm ready with my fangs. Already, so I do apologize for jumping on your back about that. Okay, what does this word mean?
Spirit, breath.
Yeah.
Yeah, also means wind. Also means, spirit as in your soul, even.
Okay.
All that all rolled into one.
All the spiritual stuff.
Yeah, but even in Hebrew, it's the same thing. There's ruach is pneuma, and Greek, and it has the same connotations: wind, spirit, soul. All right, moving forward. Okay, we're gonna get past this vocabulary, and then we're gonna move on to grammar. Profetes.
Yeah.
What? I'm sorry?
I think we did these
last
Yeah, that's good to, well, I want y'all to remember, there you go, how you make fun of me there, love. I want y'all to remember the definitions now. Because these are going to be vocabulary questions on a quiz for next week.
Oh.
Yeah, they're in your workbook.
Oh, okay.
Okay, anybody want to try to pronounce this?
You did already.
Okay, well, I want you to do it too, Liz.
Prophet.
You're getting it. You're almost there. You're like right on the cusp of getting it out.
I'm lost. You know why I'm looking wrong. Fan.
Prophetis. Prophetis.
So that, I'm not gonna lie, the ADA messes with me all the time.
It's going to, because it looks like a lowercase n,
Yeah,
and then in its uppercase, you want to go,
it makes me wanna look here, and I wanna look here.
yeah. But this is how the repetition is going to break you of the
Yeah.
English habits. Okay, and what does this mean?
Prophet or prophecy?
Well, yeah, prophet, exactly. The prophet is someone who is sent forth.
Yes. Messenger also?
What?
Also messenger?
It could be, but yeah, it just it means the one who is sent out. Really is the best way of translating it.
So what is the difference between that one? Or is that the word that is translated?
No, I'm going brain dead as what disciple is in Greek right now, and you're going to hit me with that. No, yeah. So a disciple is somebody who's like the student and a teacher student, and then
So there was one that isn't apostle one that means sent out.
yeah. Oh, I see what you're saying. Oh, okay. Sorry. Yes. Excuse me. Sorry. Prophetis. Okay. No, sorry. Now I totally goofed up. This is not sent forth. This is actually it's like not foreknown, but like forsooth would be the best way of translating it. But it's foresaid. Doesn't really work
That makes sense.
Yeah,
So,
foretold.
in a way, but foretold would be a different word in Greek. So I don't want to confuse you all. So I know you're all taking notes on that. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because I was like also trying to say how like how the noun forms of the participles in Greek verbs work like nouns, and I threw out some stuff with y'all last week. I'm like realizing, oh man, that this early in the game that can mess them up. So I'm trying not to throw too much at you.
like forerunner or.
Well, yeah, anytime you see pro, and you're going to know that it's going to be something like this in an English,
Okay.
and it could be like like for and then ever, but this isn't what that means.
Okay.
So that's kind of how that works. It's a prefix in Greek, which we'll get into more. Yeah.
I'll forget it.
Yeah, because we're going to be getting into that next week. Is our prepositions. Sometimes they're going to be separate words. Sometimes they're going to be exactly. And okay, I know we covered this last week, but we're going all over it again. Where we have our. Oh yeah. Exactly. And get this a little bit more defined for you. Yeah. Well, yeah. Exactly. This is nice. In English, all of our words we accent the first syllable. I don't know if you realize that. So this is going to be very easy to pronounce for us. Sabaton. Yeah.
I keep forgetting.
You'll get used to it after a while, but I can typically tell from your pronunciation. So, and double letters in Greek.
Always get split up.
Yeah. And pronounced too. Sabaton.
Oh.
Yes. But don't nerd up on that. Yeah.
Not on.
Oh, my way of pronunciation. You follow Mounts more than me because I've built up habits over the years. And then.
Oh, yeah.
What he says is do whatever your teacher tells you.
Oh, all right then. Do what I tell you then. Oh, and then. You can break out those LPs and.
Phone. Oh. Okay.
Yeah.
pitch.
Yeah, what do you think it means?
Sound?
Exactly. Also, it could be noise or a voice.
What is that first character?
That's a fee, a phi.
It's this. Because they tell you, a lot of people,
Okay.
and on the original sheet he gave us, you can see how they do that. It's right there.
I got you.
Yeah.
Okay, so,
Just wait until you start writing fast. It's gonna
Yeah.
your writing's gonna change a bit.
Yep. Right now, I'm just struggling to, yeah. This is so helpful.
Okay, well, I'm glad you're finding it that way. But you notice you're already reading it and calling out definitions this early into the game.
Yeah. It's even more humble.
Anyway. Did I get that? Yeah, I got it right. Mm-hmm.
Is that an N with a, thing on top of it?
This?
Yeah.
No, that's just a
No,
normal
no.
acute. Here? Oh no, that's the syllabic. This is oh sorry, it's a tau. Yeah, my sigma decided he wanted to punch the tau in the face. Okay, so in your book, there's some more definitions on page 23. If you want to go through them all, these are not required, but I'd really
Yeah, I think it's required for me.
yeah. I'm not going to test you on them, but it's good to start getting a good vocabulary built early on in the game. Oh, and page 30. No, we already went. Yep. Look up at page 32 if you want to see an interesting Greek manuscript, or actually 26. 26. You're gonna. This is 26 is an example of how Greek was written in some of the earliest manuscripts in the hardcover book. Forgive me. Forgive me.
Oh, wow. I did read that.
From right to left. Let me see if I can
So you said
pull those.
you recommend, but that we do,
Yeah, all the vocabulary. That's vocabulary on 20, 21, and extra credit, which you're not going to really get any extra credit in this class, except for a better understanding of Greek is all the words on 23.
okay. In the, what, 21, 23, you said?
No, that's in the hardcover book. In the hardcover book.
Oh, okay. Because- Okay.
Okay, let me do something real quick.
I know, I was like, I don't know how to do that.
Okay, and what we're going to do is, oh dear Lord, I just changed my password today and I did not bring it with me. Oh well, that's.
Are you one of those people that makes super long complicated?
No, I've actually been using, I've got tons of, no, I was doing that, but I found a hack that makes them real easy pens. But then I just realized if I said that and somebody watches the video, they can break into my house. And just kidding. I've got a lot of business cards that I've collected over the years, and I realized I can just swap them out and then use a word off the business card, leave it out in the open, and nobody is any of the wiser.
That's so smart.
So if I used to do stuff, because password, it's gotten to the point where I would make like a password, like I'd spell Miranda out like M1R at ND or something like that. And now like a lot of places won't even accept that as a password because they say it spells something out. And my school has me change my PIN and passwords on
Really?
every month.
Oh, that's so interesting because they're telling you if it spells a word out, you can't use it.
Exactly.
I never run into that.
Yeah,
I used
Yeah.
like someone I really couldn't stand in elementary school
Uh-huh.
as a name, and I changed it up. Like, who will ever come up with that? Right?
Yeah, what I used to.
sentences work too, sentences that mean something only to you.
So the Wi-Fi password for the church is like a bunch of upper and lowercase letters, but if you look at it, it spells out chicken fajitas are okay.
Yeah. Or the other one, which was It's a test that they would use to find out if you're a Sumerian or not.
My friend's gonna be very, help me Jesus 1, help me Jesus 2. help me
Yeah.
Jesus-"
Yeah, but a lot of places won't allow passwords like that now.
Anymore,
Yeah.
I'm into that.
Yeah.
I'm using my generator lately.
I do, but I don't want Google knowing all my passwords anymore.
Oh, you're so smart.
So,
That's true.
but even though they probably know my passwords, even though I'm coming up with them, so at least I want to, yeah. I want to wear my tin hat in peace.
Understand.
Okay, so now the part that Miranda was absolutely dreading, grammar. Because the next part that we're going to be studying, Greek nouns, we're going to have to know grammar before we even approach. Okay? So
Alright.
I'm going to do something that's not quite in the Mounts videos, but I think is rather fun. This is a good exercise I learned years ago, and it's always worked well. Okay, so I'm going to write a simple sentence. Fairly simple, right? Fairly easy to discern. Okay, what do we have some interesting functions going on here in,
Well, first of all, you're missing a capital letter and an end mark.
what, where, what? Oh, do I need a circumflex, a grave? Yeah. Oh, it does need that. I should punctuate that first T and the, but for the purpose that we're doing this,
Sorry.
oh, it's all right.
We're talking grammar, so.
Yeah. Okay. What are these two words?
Subject and object.
Nouns.
You're both right, exactly.
I would put it on.
They're all now.
You actually have this exactly what I was wanting you to get across.
Oh.
Say they're both animals?
Yeah, that too.
They end in A-T.
They're both stuff that we have at our house, but one we wish does more so to the other. Okay, and then what is this? Exactly. And what are these?
Article, adjective.
First word. They're articles. And more to the point, what type of articles are they?
Oh, no. I've forgotten. Well, I have a little.
They are the definite article, meaning that cat and no other, and that rat and no other. In fact, the word that is actually a modified form of the word the, which is interesting, which we'll get into in next week, well, actually 3 weeks from now. Okay, so well, we have verbs. Speak about what actions the nouns do in a sentence. So here we have this noun, the cat, the subject, performing this action, he ate, the object, the rat.
Okay.
So in English, we have always a word order of S, V, O. That's subject, verb, object. This is how we determine grammatical function in English. Okay, because if you do something interesting here, and you do this, now we have some distinct changing going on in the actions here. Now we have the rat is the subject eating the cat.
Or the rat was eaten by the cat.
Well, but then you're having to change your verb form, yeah. So in English, our grammatical function is determined by the order it's in the sentence. Greek doesn't work that way at all.
Of course not.
I believe.
Why would they work the same?
Yeah, because in Greek, we can do something like this.
Used to babysit for a friend and say, how was doing in school?
Okay, so here in Greek, you can have cat, but let's say you put in the O for object, and you have rat, and let's say you put in a U for subject, the O for subject and the U for object. And then you can easily change it to where,
That's cool.
and
It doesn't matter what order it's in.
exactly. So no matter what, the cat is still eating the rat.
Is it actually those letters in Greek?
No. In Greek, it would be, which I told you earlier, which we were, which you always want to take notes of, is that's the subject, os, and then you can change it to this, object. But we'll get into that next week. So that's just the way English works. Greek does not work that way. Greek is not dependent upon word order. In fact, Greek really doesn't have a word order because no matter where in the sentence, because of these endings, because you can even have it like this in Greek. In fact, it's going to be a lot like this in Greek. Wait, hang on. It's more like this. Let me go and do this. Get rid of all this. In Greek, you can do this very much easily.
All right.
And do people speak that way too?
Mm-hmm. Yes, and in most languages in the world other than English do this. Except English, French, Spanish don't. Most of the Western European languages dropped this. English used to do this, and it still appears in some of our words from up to this day. Because what? This is what we're about to get to.
This is fun.
I like that. You're automatically making those jumps. He gave the key to him. And it still exists in English to a degree. Same word, different endings. We still have it in English.
Subject and object are two different people.
Yes. So we still do it in English. We just
Like
don't.
my son. He hates pronouns.
These aren't pronouns. Well, these technically aren't. Yeah, well, they are pronouns. Yeah, he, her, he. Yeah. So sorry. Forgive me. Yeah. I do. Yeah. So yeah. Yeah. I understand what you mean by that. Sorry. I don't know why I knee jerk like that.
People like to, people get confused, like, no.
Yeah.
Well, it's dependent on the sentence that came forward.
But
Yeah. So here we have distinctly the action going on. We know what direction something's going because if we change it to this, that makes no sense now, does it? So we do have the ability to embed subject and object, but English word ordering still comes into play.
And the subject is still one object.
I'm sorry?
It still follows the subject.
Yeah, it's always going to be S, V, O. In fact, I actually added another grammatical function in Greek. This word here would actually change the grammatical function yet again. I don't think this was probably the best sentence to give, but it gives you the idea. So in English, we have subject and object markers are determined by word order. So we're going to have to be cognizant.
perfect sense to me.
Yes.
As an English speaker, does that make sense?
My entire life.
Yeah, because French and Spanish and Dutch all do the same. But what? Italian, yeah, but not German, not Russian, not Polish, not Czech. They all do exactly like Greek does. And in the past, if you ever want to go back and learn how to read Beowulf in its original form, English did do what Greek does in the past. And that he, him thing, that's an archaicism that is still in English from those days.
I would say he, him would be different than rat, cat.
Well, exactly, but I use rat cat as an example, how the word order governs
Yeah.
grammatical function in English.
It would really be confusing unless everyone clearly understood.
Well, he is always the object, right? You can't say him, like him gave that to he.
Right.
So we already know that the function of subject and object are built into the word.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Makes sense.
yeah. And you can even have like, there's different function in English like these and those, which we'll use that in one of our other case endings in Greek, because there's actually 4 case endings in Greek. We have, and I'll go and give you the introduction. We're not going to be learning the words today. Well, we may. This is always going to be the subject. And this is what we're going to be learning first. And then the accusative. This is always going to be representing the object, but more to the point, the direct object, which we'll learn more. Actually, we do have enough time. Does anybody want to continue going? What's that? I will get you an introduction, and then we will cover this more in next week. So yeah, we're making good time here. I always plan for the classes to take more time. I think it's because my experience with the I think it's because of my experience with the apologetics class would always generate a lot of discussion. Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is way more.
Okay. Oh, so I did want to get in the idea that actually English has technically 3 noun cases. We have the subject, the subjective case, which we only really see.
English down what?
English has 3 noun cases. Okay. And that's going to be an example of like he, the objective case. And yes, these only do survive mostly in pronouns. And then we have the possessive case. Or sometimes you'll have it something like this. This is more often the point. This is the only vestige of English's old case system that still exists in modern English, is in the possessive, that apostrophe S.
Really?
Yes. Okay. So I don't want you focusing too much on the top now, because I'm still focusing on English here. I realized I did almost skip over a huge amount. But I'm going to give you an introduction to why we're going to be moving in this direction. So we remember the subject, verb, object. So you're always going to be, these 2 are usually determined by their position in the sentence. So we want to say these are determined by word order. This is always, for the most part, determined by that apostrophe S. Or in pronouns, his, hers, theirs. Oh, I forgot to do, I dropped my R. Talking about those people from Massachusetts there.
You said objective and possessive are determined by what?
Word order.
And so is subjective?
Yes.
Subjective and objective.
Yes, subjective, objective. So that would be is part of the SVO system.
Possessive is determined by the apostrophe S.
Yes, or
In certain cases.
yeah, or when we have them in pronouns, his, hers, theirs. Yeah. Okay, I wish I could get my password. It's just an absolutely funny video I wanted to play for you all. Love, look up, I gotta whisper go Texas Baptist. Eric Hernandez is his phone number. She's looking up the, what's that? It's actually a buddy of mine's phone number. Okay, so in English, we also have ways of determining number. And we typically call...
English, we're still in English?
Yeah, we're still in English. We're staying in English. And this is normally called the plurals, right? In Greek, there's not one plural. There's many.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah. Okay, it's the main phone number then. Sorry.
I'll look for it.
Okay, it'll be 244, then something else. Well, after the area code, should I say. And hopefully I'm making sense. I am absolutely exhausted. This week has been killing me.
Well, if you need to go.
No. I'm not trying to say that. I'm trying to apologize if I'm not making any sense. Probably all the way down at the bottom. I'll just go to Texas Baptist. Sorry.
He's setting us up to not
Maybe I got an old card.
Mm-hmm.
It's not their assistance line. 244-9400. No.
Yeah, now you know how to get on my computer.
You have to take it tomorrow.
Okay. One moment here. Okay.
Rich. Yeah.
No, I need to watch the video.
Yeah. They're like just under 30 minutes.
I was accepted as one of the really short, like I'm not gonna learn it.
Okay, so
I think I'm
I'm going to play a funny video that'll have you remember this really well. Let's see here. It'll be mostly just the sound here. So.
Well, what it is just I didn't know how to make plurals in school. I mean, I'm still not very good at them. I just remember sitting there and a teacher going, Brian, how do you make a word a plural? Well, you say it's a plural now. No, Brian, how do you make a word a plural? You better be a plural. Brian, come on. How do you make a think about it? How do you make a word a plural? Oh, you put an S at the end of it. When? on weekends and holidays. No, Brian, let me show you. So she asked this kid, it was American school, who knew everything. His kid's name was Erwin. Erwin, what is the plural for ox? Oxen. The farmer used his oxen. Brian, what? Brian, what's the plural for box? Boxen. I bought 2 boxes of donuts. They had twisty goose. One lemon quitter, a honey crunch. They forgot to put the honey crunch. Brian, let's try another one. Erwin, what is the plural for goose? Geese. I saw a flock of geese. Brian, what? Brian, what's the plural for moose? Oh no. Moosin! I saw a flock of moosin. There were many much moosin. There were many much moosin in the woods. In the wood is. The bees want the food to eat in it. The bees were hungry. The bees were hungry to eat the food, and the wood is in. The one eating the food is in. The wood is in. And the wood is in. And the wood is in. Brian. You're an imbecile. Imbecile.
All right, so thought I'd share that with y'all. Okay. Oh, hey. Oh, and this guy, he's a clean comic. So if you ever want to listen to him, he does dry bar comedy from time to time. So hilarious. I've been listening to him since I was a teenager. He's been around that long. So in English, we typically add an S for number, but we do actually have other ways of plurifying stuff, making things plural: oxen, boxes, goose, geese, moose, stays moose. And these are artifacts from English's older days. This comes from German.
Okay.
So does that. Well, this comes from Old English. This comes from Old English too. These are two different ways that you could make a plural in Old English. Yeah, because you could actually have a time where it could have been oxes, and a time where it could have been boxen. Yeah, there's what?
Like, we had some friends whose last name was Farkases, and people would always call them Farkai.
Well, you're getting one form of the Greek plural there already.
Oh.
Yeah. So there are many ways of making a Greek plural, and it's going to sound confusing like this, but it'll make sense. So I wanted to show you that for an example. Yeah. All right, and then Miranda's going to have an easy time with this, and probably Liz, because of her knowledge of French. We also have gender in Greek, which we do not have in English. So there's no real easy way of showing that, but you can have in Spanish and have total different meanings just by changing the ending, and you're going to run exactly into this in Greek. So little boy versus little girl. So, all right, and then want to spend some time in, we know what nouns are, correct? What are adjectives?
It's correct now.
Exactly. So we have adjectives in Greek as well. And they do the same function as they do in English, except for they're going to have all of the baggage that the nouns have in Greek. In English, we can have a red car. But if you can imagine, remember that karu? In Greek, you'd have to do that.
Okay. That's the right part.
Yeah, but don't take that as a way that they do that.
Right.
But you can also have a big red car as well. So you've got two adjectives. You've got this adjective modifying that adjective. Well, actually, it's probably going to be more like in Greek, it would probably flow naturally. That wouldn't make sense in Greek. You'd have to do red, big car, because then that modifies that, which modifies that. Okay.
And then would they put you, like, or would it be red, blue, car?
Yes, it's all going to flow together.
Okay.
And then sometimes, because of the way it flows, you can have it be like the car was red and big, and then you're going to only be able to know that these two are talking together because you'll have that. So.
That's interesting. And that other languages do that too?
Mm-hmm. And count your lucky stars. This isn't Russian or Hungarian. Greek has 4 cases. Russian has 6. Hungarian has 8. And there's languages with up to 12 noun cases, so we don't have it all that bad. Okay, and then prepositions. Anybody know what these are? Anybody want to guess?
I know words that are prepositions, but I don't know what.
Okay.
It's a direction, like in the car, on the house, on the bridge. It's a phrase. It's a word that starts a phrase.
Anyway, it's a yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
In the house, under the table, before the movie, after school. So what they do is they give you knowledge as to what the noun, what this, like typically an object or subject or whatever is in relation to. So it's typically what the subject's going to be in relation to the object. The cat, that's going to be your subject, is under the table.
And under the table is a prepositional phrase.
Yeah, under the table, exactly. And to be more to the point, it'll be, hey, in fact, that's moving right into what we're doing next. The predicate and the subject. This is going to be very important in doing our Greek because we're going to, interesting that you brought up what you were talking about earlier. So, okay, that's the predicate. The cat, the subject, the predicate is under the table. And then I'm going to play a new funny video for you. No, wait, no, yeah. And then I'll finish it up with the articles.
A and B,
What's that?
A and B,
What's A and B?
A and B, A and B.
A and, I'm not following, I'm sorry. Oh, yeah, if we want to get into that, but yeah, we'll close out with a funny video. Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, our articles are, so we have our definite article. Anybody remember what we talked about, what that is earlier?
Like, it is that one, no other.
Yeah. The, and you're right, it can also be that as well, too. That car. It can even be this marker.
Okay.
These are all funny. This is the case system reeling its ugly head in English again. Greek is going to do the same thing with the articles. The word the in Greek can also mean of, and denote possession, which we'll find that out. And then we have our indefinite article. Which is the word, this, a marker, or an apple. And the funny thing is, the definite article, in every language in the world that uses an indefinite article, the word is actually the number one. Un, what? Yeah. Un árbol.
That's right.
Una, think of a feminine word right now. Give me a feminine noun. Una manzana, and un apple, yeah. Which means the word one. Una means one in Spanish. An is how you said one in Old English or Anglo-Saxon. And then you have another form of it in any. Yes. Okay, so in Greek you will have all this function, except for Greek does not use an indefinite article. You will never run into that in Greek.
Really?
Yeah, exactly. Because that's a very rare thing, because you're just basically saying one. Can you give me one?
Sure. Just give me one out.
Or one E, like one E, like any. Kind of one of many.
Or one red apple.
Yeah. All right, so now we were talking about the predicate nominative earlier, right? Yeah. Was it the Mormons or Jehovah's? It was Jehovah's Witnesses, right? That deal with the word logos, right? The Jesus was a God. Yeah. Yeah. So I will end us with a funny video that goes into Greek grammar.
What is a predicate nominative again?
We're gonna find out using
Can you
humor.
please chip in just $5 while my dad is forced to be in a courtroom? He's unable to campaign.
I'm hoping this is the right
Okay,
one.
Patrick, tell us more about this religion of yours here. Yeah, Patrick, tell us what it means to be one of Jemima's waterbeds. No, it's Jehovah's Witnesses. That's what I said, Geppetto's walruses. No, Jehovah's Witnesses. As in, we witness the wonderful works of Jehovah. What is Jehovah? Oh, orphan soul. Jehovah is the name.
No, this is Mormons. I'm thinking this. It's the Mormons that think that Jesus was a god. Forgive me. This one's going into Hebrew, not. So forgive me. Let me see. Hang on.
Well, they both do, actually.
No, but I do remember this one gets into a Hebrew lesson, not a Greek lesson. So yeah. So sorry. So that's why I'm apologizing for being tired. Not that I want to go home and get some sleep. It's just I'm probably not going to make all the best sense in the world right now. And my memory is faltering.
Very important class.
And no, that's not this one.
Okay, Patrick, tell us a bit more about this Mormonism thing. Yeah,
That's not the right one.
No. It popped up in the feed when I was doing the search, and then, oh, there it is. Ha! There it is, found it.
How dare you, Patrick? What? You're talking to a couple of 5th century Irish peasants here. You know good and well we're both hopelessly illiterate. Yeah, Patrick, quit pamphlet shaming us. Wait, you can't read? Not a word. Now let's dive into the grammar of John 1:1 to address your terrible translation. So, in Koine, there is a series of words for the definite article known in English as the. However, there is no word for the indefinite article a. On account of this, whilst translating, it's common to add the indefinite article before a noun if the definite article is missing. For example, Matthew 5:14. You are the light of the world. A city set on a hill cannot be hidden. Exactly, and there's no article before theos in John 1:1c, which is why we translate that section as and the word was a God. So clearly John is saying that Jesus wasn't the God, but was only a God. In other words, a very holy but lesser being. Except it's most clearly not saying that, Patrick, which you might have realized if you hadn't dropped out of Greek 101 after 15 seconds and ordered a powerbomb the Nicene Creed. So let's dive back to the text. The text that you can't read. Yeah, that's the one. Now, in Greek, nouns have declension, which is a fancy way of saying that nouns change a bit based on the function they serve in a sentence. For example, when the word silver is the subject of the verb in Greek, the word is organos. When it's the object, however, it's arboreal. This is boring. Yeah, I know, Connor, but we gotta slap through this stuff to refute the Jehovah's Witnesses. You brought through the whippersnapper. Now, things get a wee bit tricky on the declension front when it comes to the verb to be.